All right, and welcome back to Real Talk. I'm your host, Ryan Matthews, here with Jeffrey Klein again. And we are going to go a little bit lighter today, just so you guys can get to know us. We're going to play a fun game that we have papers here, and it is called True Truths and a Lie. And I don't know if he knows these, and I don't think I know them about him. So we're going to
You might, dude.
play a little guessing game.
Yeah. Well, we'll figure it out, right? I
Yeah.
guess we'll find out.
We'll see. So you want to go first? Or you want me to go first?
I'll go first. I'll read yours first.
Okay, perfect.
Here we go. I have not read these prior. It's my first time. Okay. I got grounded for snowboarding out of bounds. This is Ryan.
Okay.
I've driven a Village People camper through Australia.
Okay.
I met Eddie Vedder when I was a kid.
Okay.
All right. I'm going to guess.
I am from Seattle.
Yeah. I don't think you've met Eddie Vedder when you were a kid.
Oh.
You know why? Because you told me the story about your friend. That's
Yes.
Yeah, friend from elementary school. It's like, oh, my uncle's in a rock band. You're like, oh, who? Yeah.
That's
So
right.
I was like, that sounds too familiar, man. And like, yeah, you definitely didn't.
Told that
You didn't finish that story by saying
I met him.
Yeah.
You're right. So I did not. I went to school with his niece.
Okay. Right on.
And in Seattle when I was growing up, and she's like, "Yeah, my uncle Eddie's in this band." And she's like, "Yeah, it's called Pearl Jam." And like years later, I'm like, "Oh,
yeah.
I know what band that is now." So yeah, I went to school with her, but I did not meet him.
Nice. Okay. Well, then
Yeah.
you're gonna have to elaborate on snowboarding out of bounds.
Yes.
And the Village People camper. I don't know where I want you to start. I guess
Yeah,
snowboarding. Yeah.
Snowboarding. Yes. So, I was snowboarding up in Whistler,
Okay.
in British Columbia, and we had gone up. A buddy of mine we had gone up like the early pass, so we go all the way up to the top. And Whistler is kind of wide. It's over two mountains. I forget which mountain we were on, but it was the lower one. And right as if you look at the map, you come off. We're off the edge, and then it goes straight across this way. And so right at the edge of the bound, I mean, we pulled up the little orange thing. We shouldn't have done it. But we're like, hey, we'll go hit this one jump. Like Whistler was too small. It's like the biggest in North America, I think, to ski in or something. So we didn't have enough room. We had to go out of bounds. So we find this little jump, and we weren't familiar with like how quickly it was basically like straight over.
Oh my gosh.
So we spent all this time like trying to traverse back. And we're like, man, where are the runs? Like we can't get back here. So yeah, it ended up taking us, I think we were up there at like 8, like an hour before the lifts opened. And we ended up going through these trees. We did some hiking. We ended up on the cross-country trails. And then we finally did find one of like the farther away villages. We did find a gondola that took us up, but it was probably lunchtime by the time we were back on like a traditional run. So it was like a 4-hour jaunt.
How old were you?
I was in high school. I think maybe 17, 18, probably 17.
Were your parents on the trip too?
Yeah, so I was, my family and his family, we had gone on a bunch of ski trips and stuff together. And we get back and we're like, guess what we did? We were out of bounds for hours. And I thought nothing of it. And then I got home and they're like, yeah, so you're grounded for a week. I was like, damn, like that sucks. But I mean, it was what it was. But it's like, yeah. And I get it. Like if my kids, like they went out of bounds, it'd be terrifying. It's like, there's tons of little jumps to hit in Blackcomb and Whistler. So so I got grounded for that.
Oh, that's crazy, dude.
Yeah. And then you want to know the Village People one,
the Village People one, yeah.
Yeah, so I was traveling in Australia, and my girlfriend at the time, her uncle was working down there as the ambassador. And so we go down, we were in New Zealand, we hung out, and then we went back to Australia, and it was right around Thanksgiving, which Southern Hemisphere is like their summertime. So we get out for winter break up here. They get out for summer break down in Australia. So we're going to go back from Brisbane down to Sydney. And it's probably like Seattle to LA, like 1,000 miles. And so we ended up, it's schoolies weekend. So that's what it's called when everybody gets out. And they go to the Gold Coast, which is where we were going, and Surfers Paradise. And so we look this old school, like this is in 2008, and it's like we look through the phone book, and we're like, oh, we didn't think ahead to reserve a camper van. So we go through, this one was a Wicked camper. That's how far through the phone book we had to go to get something.
Oh my gosh.
And so the Wicked Campers, if look them up, they're fantastic. But it was like a 1980s Toyota van.
Oh my
And
gosh.
these things were like jalopies. Like we'd have to slow down if it overheated. They're like, yeah, you got to turn the AC off. Like, no. They're like, yeah, that's what you got to do. So, I mean, all it had was 2 seats and like a bed and then a little kitchen in the back.
Gosh.
And so all of them are like tagged graffiti style. And so everyone's unique. They have these like graffiti artists come in and tag them. And so we see ours and it's like the last one. And it's like this, like, it's kind of a cream white is the base color. And then it's tagged and it's got the Village People all over the side.
Oh my gosh.
And on the back, across the thing, it says, I want to be a macho man. So we're driving this around for a week and just like on the right side, like down to Australia. But it's like, yeah, I want to be a macho man. So that was like, drove that like down the coast of Australia.
I feel like if you cut somebody off, they couldn't be upset with you because
Yeah.
they're like, this is the most ridiculous van I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah, exactly. I mean,
So-
they just, it was silly. And we saw a couple of them out there.
Yeah.
But then we pull into car park, like the RV campers. So we'd like everyone would have their like RVs and stuff. And down there they would have people would live in these like RV parks. Like it was not like the US. Like
Yeah.
it was nice down there. Like
Nice.
that's like a thing to do.
Hmm.
And see how it was always a conversation piece because people would be like, oh yeah, who's this guy? And then we like pop out and they're just it was always fun to go see, but it was ridiculous.
That's
So
wild, dude.
yeah, it was a lot of fun. And
Yeah.
it I don't think it ever really broke down. There were a couple times that we had to stop and like it overheated once or twice, but we'd go see something, met some dogs on the side of the road or whatever, but it was a good time.
Uh-huh.
So,
That sounds absolutely miserable to me, dude.
Yeah.
Like the like lack of like I don't know.
like direction or like
Yeah.
what to do.
Yeah, like oh we just when it overheat, we just pull over like huh.
Yeah. And that's what they told us like at the thing. They're like, yeah, if this one has a problem. So if it just overheats, just like wait a little bit. We're like, what? Meanwhile, like I think we might have had a cell phone, but for the most part,
2008,
it's
I
like,
guess.
yeah, 2008, I had a phone here, but I didn't transfer it. So I think we had a phone just for like emergencies. But for the most part, it's like we'd go to internet cafes and talk to people. Like if we needed to, like we'd email home and whatnot. But
Also, what a different world back then, huh?
yeah,
Was it 16 years ago? That's wild, dude.
yeah,
Yeah.
holy cow! I don't.
Yeah.
It doesn't feel like it's been that long.
Yeah.
So
It's 15, 16 years. Yeah.
yeah,
That's wild.
it's crazy. I didn't exist on when I flew down. You skip a day. So I flew from the west coast of the U.S. directly to Sydney. So I left on November 6th. And the way the world turns,
Together November
I got
8th.
there the 8th.
Oh my god.
But then when I came home, I left at 3 p.m. on whatever day it was, and I got back at 10 a.m. the same day.
that's
So
wild.
I got back before I left.
That's
I
crazy.
didn't exist November 7th, 08. Like, I just didn't. There's no
Graduated in
record of me
2008?
anywhere. Yeah.
I was in high school, dude. I was a sophomore in high school. You're over here traveling the world, getting
Yeah.
lost in Macho Man vans.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, hey, how do I get through this class?
Yeah.
What's for lunch?
Different world back then.
Yeah,
man.
dude. Yeah. Wow. Okay. All right.
I love it. We'll have to play this again.
Yes, we
I
will.
like this.
Yeah.
Yes, that was a very wild time. Far different than we have now, and we've definitely grown up a little bit since then, age-wise, but maybe not all the way. We still get into our antics.
Yeah.
So that's all we have today. We're gonna do 2 truths and a lie with
Yes.
Jeffrey next time.
Yes, we will.
Thank you for tuning in, and we will see you next time. If this is content you like, hit the like, subscribe button. That way you know when the next episode comes out. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.
Thanks, guys.